Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. Time for another G.I. Joe toy review, and do we have a great review today? Man, I was just jazzed to get this one out, and I figured, why not? I was going to save it for something else, but no. Today is the day. We're going to be looking at Destro version 1. Oh, is this figure awesome? I've always been a big fan of Destro. I thought he was so much cooler than Cobra Commander, even though Cobra Commander had that really gnarly helmet, which inspired a lot of my artwork as a kid. I would draw that helmet on a lot of figures, or on a lot of characters. You know, when I decided to really look at Destro for this review, to study the figure, he has a commanding presence. He is 4 inches tall, when the average action figure was 3 3/4 inch, and they carried that tradition on. Hasbro carried that tradition throughout the making of Destro. He's always been a little bit taller than other characters, other figures. They want him to stand out. When the rest of Cobra, save for the Baroness, is dressed in blue. The Crimson Guard wasn't out yet, so I'm not including them. The Baroness and Destro were dressed in black. Why? My personal theory that Destro and the Baroness were actually running Cobra, and Cobra Commander was a puppet. It's not what the comics show, it's not what the Deke animated series shows, but that is the impression that I get from Destro and the Baroness being separate from the rest of Cobra. It's not because they're a part of the command structure. I really feel that they are the brains behind everything. Cobra Commander was the first to retreat. Destro and the Baroness wanted to stay and fight, but they couldn't because Cobra Commander was taken off, so they took off just to cover their butts. The rest of the troops were taken off too, so they would have been left there alone and vulnerable for capture. So they would run only because of that. And notice, and I'll cover this more when I talk about the Baroness, when I review her. Why doesn't she have a silver sigil when the rest of the Cobra officers did? That's a point that's brought up by a lot of reviewers. So, back to Destro. 4 inches tall, clad in black, doesn't wear a Cobra sigil anywhere. Why? He's not really a part of Cobra. He sells weapons, the Mars industry, and as it was portrayed in the live action G.I. Joe movie, which I happen to like. I know there's a lot of critics out there about it, but I liked it. It explained some of the characters further in depth for me. And it showed Destro working for Cobra, but selling to G.I. Joe. So does that really make him a mercenary? Interesting, huh? Major Blood was a mercenary. So, Destro, his commanding presence, clad in black and red, has that big, shiny, fat chrome head. Head's a little bit bigger than the rest of them. He has a little hydrocephaly going on, but that is all right. So Destro, when he hit the pegs in 1983, he was selling for $2.83. Does he sell for $2.83 anymore? No. And we will cover that in Byron's gripes. And man, do I have a lot to gripe about. So he was on the pegs From 83 until 86, this man had a run for 3 years, almost unheard of in the vintage line. Absolutely unheard of in the modern line, as they only ran for a year. Then in the 90s, they would repaint them and send them out again. But he was also available as a part of Hasbro Direct. He came bagged with a red back file card. And let me pull that up for you. And speaking of file cards, when he was first released in 83, his file card read G.I. Joe. Interesting. Was he a Joe or was he Cobra? That kind of confused me, because the cartoon showed that he was a bad guy, but the action figure showed G.I. Joe. But Hasbro corrected that the following year in 84. They marked his file card with the enemy. So, lost my train of thought. Let me pull up a picture of that too, just for a comparison. But Destro made his first comic book appearance in issue number 14. Why he didn't show up in issue 1, I don't know. I didn't read any of the earlier comics. As a kid, I'm starting to read them now, and I don't have the first like 15 or 20 issues, so I couldn't quite give you a reason why. But issue number 14 has a great cover, and let me pull that picture up for you as well. And I also pulled up a picture of the cardback variant. The 83 cardback only had 20 cells of action figures, and the 84 cardback had 34 action figures on it. So obviously there were more action figures that had come out the following year. Now, Destro has a variant as well, and just by luck I happen to have that variant, and I'll show that to you as we're reviewing. But one, he has a date on his inner thigh on his left leg that reads Hasbro, and the other does not have the variant, and that one is a little bit harder to find. And this is why I love going to thrift shops, because I found that variant of Destro without the date stamp, and I bought him for 50 cents. No, 25 cents. I'm sorry, 25 cents, and I got it. He's near mint, and I got a scrap iron for the same price, near mint condition, but scrap iron's feet were broken off. But anyway, Destro was also released in Europe under the Action Force brand, and this one is so cool. I wish I could have found one to show you a picture of the actual action figure. Well, I do have a picture of the actual action figure, but I wish I could have found the prices on him. So he was released under the Action Force brand. His name is Red Jackal. They changed it, so let me pull that one up too. Great looking action figure. They colored in his chest. It's red and it has a skull and crossbones for their symbol, for the faction that they're under. And unfortunately, I don't know a lot about Action Force to tell you more about what that is. Very, very interesting action figure line. So without any further ado, guys, I know this has been a long intro, but it is so important. He is such a cool action figure. We have a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and take a look at him. So here's a nice side-by-side comparison of Destro. and two versions of Cobra Commander. He's even taller than the hooded Cobra Commander, which is pretty interesting as well. But you see just the commanding presence that he holds over these action figures. It is so cool, in my opinion. All right, so taking a look at Destro, this is the one I found at the thrift store. You can see his chest has a little bit of yellowing on it. I don't know if this is a paint variant. Let me pull that in closer if you can notice. There you go. This guy is a little bit darker in his chest. If that's a paint variant or if that's yellowing, I do not know. But you can see, hopefully, yeah, it comes up a little bit. There on his left leg, you can see the date stamp right here. So that is the more common one. And this is the variant. So very, very cool. Or did I get that mixed up? Earlier I said I found the one without the date stamp at the thrift store. Correction. This is the one that I purchased later on, and this is the thrift store, but it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to correct a mistake. So let's take a closer look. Let's do his accessories first. And I do have some childhood memories of Destro. My friend Robert Vega had Destro. He was more into He-Man, but he had Star Wars and G.I. Joe. So we had a variety of action figures to play with. And the thing that I thought was really cool was his backpack, or mentioned as an attaché case. Black in its textured. There was a variant that came out with the accessory pack that was blue, and that was accessory pack number 4. So you open it up, and this is what I was just awestruck with. Like, dang, look at all that. It has a broken down M16 on the inside here. Hasbro spared no expense when it came to sculpting this. On this inside here, it looks like he has some smoke grenades, pineapple grenades, couple baseball grenades. It is Hasbro, so you're going to get grenades. He has a mortar, a stiletto in there, also looks appear to be a camp knife or a hunting knife, and a small pistol. But he also came with this very, very nice laser pistol. This is so cool, and it fits quite well in his hand. So, Destro's a gentleman. He's going to be using a pistol. Later on, he just switches to a sword when he's with the Iron Grenadiers. But this is the part that I thought was the coolest. The pistol fits into the backpack, as I'm sure we all know. But he was the first, the best of my memory, to have a backpack that stored a weapon. And it just plugs right in here to his back. Not bad at all. Sits a little low, but okay. Commander is the first to bear the honor of having a pistol that fits on his back. Of course he does. He's Cobra Commander. This is version 1.5 or version 2, however you look at it. But striking figure. I love Cobra Commander. The Great Snake rules forever. Okay. So looking further at Destro, this man, as I aforementioned, clad in black. Look at those boots, man. I love a good pair of boots. Nice knee-high boots. Looks like he's wearing riding pants. On his right leg, he has a nicely sculpted on Nice screws. None of them are rusty. Nicely sculpted on red holster. He has his jacket unzipped with his collar popped in red. Of course, he has his disco chain on there with his family medallion. He has some pockets on here, which I didn't notice until I started examining him for the review. Hard to see. He has a walkie-talkie. He has some sort of a wrist communicator on his left wrist with a silver gauntlet. The paint is not rubbed off. Beautiful. As we know, the earlier metallic paints rubbed off really easy. He has 2 rockets on his right hand, also on silver gauntlets. And this was a feature I played with a lot. Those rockets were just the coolest thing to me as a kid. He would type in the coordinates for the rocket and fire them. He did use those in the cartoon. He fired 2 at Flint and Lady J when they were inside of his castle. Don't blame him for that. And he has this vac metallized chrome helmet or mask. As a kid, I thought this was metal, and I tried sticking magnets to it. Didn't work. His head only turns left to right because he's pre-85. Now just look at that. Nice and shiny. His back is rather bland, and on this one his date stamp is on his tuchus. It says made in Hong Kong. He has a strap going down his back, which is for his backpack, so it's more of a sling pack than anything. And this I didn't pay any attention to, so let's take a look. Yeah, on the variant it says made in Hong Kong as well on his butt, as well as Hasbro 1983 on the leg. So very, very interesting. Both figures. The variant is striking. He's on a stand, so he's a little bit taller. But I like this one with the little darker chest. Those colors pop. So let's go ahead and take a look at his file card. This is the first release. It does say G.I. Joe on it. And hey, it doesn't look like it's mirrored. So you guys will be able to read this along with me. On the back, you see this was, oh my gosh, purchased at Toys by Roy. I didn't notice that before. Toys by Roy. I used to shop at that toy store at Fiesta Mall in Mesa, Arizona. I remember when you go into the front entrance of the mall, Toys by Roy was right there. Boom, in your face. Very cool. And of course it has advertised a swivel arm battle grip. And this is what the picture would have looked like on the front. So, this file card reads, enemy weapons supplier, codename Destro, file name unknown, but we now know it's James McCullen. Primary military specialty, weapons manufacturer. Secondary military specialty, terrorist. I don't know about that. I would say he's his second would be weapons supplier. He manufactures and sells. His birthplace is unknown, but we now know it's from, he was born in Scotland. Take a look at that picture. Very nice family crest. Well, not a crest. It looks more like a ruby on his chest. It's what's intended to be. Middle paragraph reads, Destro is a faceless power behind Mars military armament research systems. Largest manufacturer of the state-of-the-art weaponry. To Destro, war is man's most natural state. The fittest survive, and the greatest technology advances are made. He maintains a luxurious lifestyle around the world. I'm sure he does. Castles everywhere. Destro provides high-tech arms to any side able to meet his price. So he does sell to G.I. Joe, does sell to NATO, and will incite war where it does not exist. So he could sell his weapons. He dons his silver battle mask, a family tradition, and enters battle himself, either with Cobra Command, Destro is their major weapon supplier, or against them if it's for better business. So he does team up with G.I. Joe every once in a while, and I'm sure other factions from what this card reads. And then he later broke off into Civil War, the Cobra Civil War, and formed the Iron Grenadiers. Bottom paragraph. Destro respects the G.I. Joe team. Yes, he does. Destro is a warrior. He is a gentleman. The G.I. Joe team for their combat skills and expertise, but abhors them for wasting such skills to maintain peace. He's totally dedicated to seeing them undermined, subverted, or destroyed. So he respects them and abhors them. So he's like, you guys are great fighters, I love that, but you're idiots because you're wasting your talents to not create war. Okay, kind of a paradox there, but we'll leave it at that. All right. Gosh, what a great figure. Excellent sculpting on him, beautiful paint scheme. He is well beyond a top shelf figure for me. Well beyond. He deserves his own crystal case to be set in. Oh, I have a throne that right now Cobra Commander's sitting in. It's a 3D printed plastic throne. If you watched one of HCC's unboxing, I sent him one. So I might have to unthrone Cobra Commander and put him up there for display. I just may have to do that. Great figure. So it's time for my favorite segment, Byron's Gripes. Thank you. No need for applause. Do I have a lot to gripe about? I admire these people for wanting to sell their toys, their action figures, and give people a chance to buy them, but I abhor their prices. That's right. I am so distraught. It's making me drink cherry Coke today. Need something a little harder than orange. And no, Coke is not sponsoring me. I buy it because I get it cheaper than Pepsi. So, yeah, I'm a tightwad. That's why I do Byron's Gripes. So, this gave me a headache, really. One of those tension headaches start right at the occiput, work its way around to the sides. Ugh. So I had to take a little bit of headache relief, some Excedrin. So, here we go, G.I. Joe fans, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pets of all kinds. If you want an incomplete Destro that comes only with his pistol, $17.99. Good price. Good price. That just may be the deal of the day right off the bat. You want his backpack? $1.99 to $4? Really? $4 for that? It is common. It is the most common one out on the aftermarket. $4 and they want $3.85 shipping on top of it? No sirree. Not from this guy. You want one incomplete? A Destro incomplete with his backpack? No pistol? $11 to $18.99. Not bad. Not bad at all. I don't know if any of these are the variants. I didn't read all the descriptions because there were so many out there. And the prices were just insane. For those who are just joining me, I only get these prices off of eBay, and I'm not picking on eBay, it's just the easiest one. And I'm sure there's other websites that have them cheaper, but I go with eBay. I don't read off the shipping unless it is just something stupid where somebody's getting greedy and wanting more money out of you. So I'll mention shipping. I never mention the seller's name unless I buy from them. Then I'll give them praise for, or give them credit for when it's due. But otherwise, I just mention the prices. These are all fixed prices. I don't go with the auction prices. 9 times out of 10, those auction prices are higher than a fixed price. So, continuing on. Just his torso, it comes with the head and arms, $13. That is a little much. Just a little too much. You could get a complete one cheaper. Okay? A complete figure, I mean. So if you want one that's incomplete, without his accessories, so no file card, no weapon, no backpack, $10. Not bad. Given these higher prices, you could buy his gun and backpack and still save money, even including shipping. So $10 to $24.99 just for an action figure all by his lonesome. $25? What are you thinking, man? What are you thinking? I mean, you are off your trolley. $24.99 plus shipping? Just because it says G.I. Joe, say it with me, just because it says G.I. Joe, it doesn't make it valuable. The ones that are truly valuable are the mail-in exclusives. Steel Brigade. The blue snake armor from the vintage line. The Sears exclusives. That includes the Dreadnought vehicles. And those are pretty rare because they were made out of a lower grade plastic and they broke easy. Starduster. Those are the ones that are valuable. They will always be valuable and their prices are always going to go up. Why? Because people who are from a more affluent household are buying, are purchasing. People that own businesses and vintage toy stores, comic book shops are buying these. They have a higher cash flow than us, your average Joe, no pun intended. So it makes it harder for the individual. I'm not going to say the little person, nobody's little. For the average person to purchase these. And it is so frustrating. And I'm glad I started buying G.I. Joe on the aftermarket 5-6 years ago. Because the prices have quadrupled, sometimes up even higher. And most of my collection was from my childhood. And if I have one from my childhood, I mention it when I'm reviewing it. So, continuing. Just his waist piece, or other collectors call it a crotch. To me, the crotch is just the front part that breaks off. The waist piece, $14.95. Okay, that's somewhat fair. But given that you could purchase a complete action figure, no. You know, the $14.95, if you already have a Destro and you're wanting to restore them to near mint condition, yeah, okay. You might want to do that. You know, that's up to you. Continuing. Complete with his file card, $30 to $49.99. $50. No. That almost made me cuss. I'm sorry. $49.99 for that. It is too blasted expensive. No. And that's why I call this Byron's Gripes. I'm not really an angry man. It's all acting. So, his redback file card. Now, I will go along with this price. $33. That's the Hasbro Direct file card. A little bit rare, harder to find. Okay, that's that's decent. Like I said, I'll go with that price. The accessory pack number 4 backpack, $1.99. It comes in blue. His gun is in an off-white color. I don't have. I had one or have one, but it's packed away somewhere. So it's an off-white. I remember that. So if you want one, Destro, no accessories with his file card, another one, $49.99 with the file card. I won't even pay that for one that's complete. A complete one with his file card. Complete with the file card, $72. That one at least has an or better offer marked under it, so you could negotiate. I would actually suggest you negotiate with all of these prices. These people are wanting to sell. They're just wanting to make money. Some people are really bullheaded and say absolutely not. That's what I want to sell it for. Negotiate with everybody. You'll be surprised because these are our fellow collectors, our brethren. So $72, absolutely not. $119.83, $119.83. No, his head isn't dipped in platinum. It's not dipped in silver. Why are you charging $119.83? His disco medallion isn't a real jewel. Wake up. Jeez. Continuing on. His file card, $5.99. Okay, I'll go with that. That is, okay, that's a deal of the day. I'll put that one with the $17.99 for the deal of the day. $5.99 to $39.99 for the file card, and that wasn't the one that read G.I. Joe. It said The Enemy, so it's your second run. It's not the Hasbro Direct either. No, you greedy people. Lower your prices for crying out loud. I'm calling you out. This one gets the Anal Cranial Inversion of the Day award. Mint on card. Prepare yourself. I had to double check this. Mint on card from the first run, $1,999.99. $2,000 fixed price. It's not in a plastic case. It does not have an AFA rating. It's not graded. I wouldn't even pay that if it was an AFA graded Star Duster. And get this. Oh, my head. $53.75 for shipping? He's shipping from the United States. It doesn't cost that much to ship something that's 8 or 9 ounces internationally. This is one greedy blood pressure. This makes me mad. This makes me mad. I'm sorry. It does. That is just too much. I mean, really, it's too much. Yes, he's a popular figure, but don't price gouge. Please. So you want one that's complete with no file card, $32.95. Compared to $2,000, heck, let me write you a check right now. Jeez. I'm sorry, my friends. Really, I am sorry. That was insane. It's not a Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, which I don't have and never will have. So I'm not going to pay $2,000 for Destro. That was the most insane review I've done as far as Byron's Gripes goes. And this is a fun segment. I intended to be fun, to be comical. But that $2,000 one, oh goodness. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. Thank you for all of my newest subscribers. I really appreciate it. And I hope you found my content entertaining. And I hope it's worthy enough to keep your subscription. It means a lot to me seeing my subscription numbers going up. That means I'm doing something that people like. Don't forget to hit that notification bell down in the corner, right there. Hit that notification bell so when I upload a video every Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday if I'm running behind, you'll know when the video pops up. Also, if you want to join the channel supporter group, just leave me a tip on coffee. I'll have that down in the description as well. All of my supporters' names are listed in the description. Supporters will be... I'll hold an exclusive drawing just for the supporters, but everybody who is a subscriber is eligible for other giveaways. Just if you're not a supporter, it doesn't mean you're going to get a lesser prize. No, they're all going to be good prizes. Why? Because I love this country. I love G.I. Joe. I want to share that love with everybody out there and give you guys something to thank you for tuning into my channel. It's just who I am. So also give this video a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. It's okay. Thumbs down are fine. I don't take it personally. I use that as motivation to improve my channel content. So this is Joe Motion Videos 82 signing off. Have a fabulous day. Don't forget to be kind to everyone, especially be kind to animals. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.